All right, so we got some major update improvements noticed. They responded to the feedback pretty quickly. If you remember, I did a video a couple days ago on the evolution system, and I expressed that I didn't really have a problem with it, and I thought perhaps a change of perspective was necessary. Apparently I was wrong. Apparently that was not a good take. I've listened to guys like Sean B and Jew Bagel who've been playing this game consistently for the time that I haven't been. And they don't really complain for the sake of complaining, you know what I mean? If they say something is a problem, I tend to accept that, you know what I mean? So, I don't know what else to say about that. I think I feel a little bit differently about the problems in Summoner's War because I've been playing Raid for 4 years, and if you've never played Raid Shadow Legends or really any of these other games, Summoner's War sits in this little pocket for me of being so much better on so many different fronts than every other mobile game I've played over the last decade, that the problems don't affect me the same way. But I guess I understand if you're exclusively a Summoner's War player, all of these problems feel different to you, right? You don't have anything else to compare them to you, so these are your concerns, and they're valid, you know what I mean? So I wasn't trying to diminish anybody's frustration. I want to be clear about that, about the new system. If you were frustrated by it, I hope my video didn't make you feel like you were wrong or like I was saying you were wrong, because that wasn't my goal. I just was kind of expressing how I felt about it and trying to alleviate some of the disappointment, I guess. But also, I'm saying I genuinely didn't have a problem with it, but that's possibly because I also play Raid, and it's real rough to be a Raid player. The developers seem to intentionally make that game bad. There's some kind of kink they have for upsetting their player base, so I'm just not affected by problems in the same way in Summoner's War. So that doesn't mean they're not valid problems. I just am affected by them differently. So again, my bad if my video about the new evolution system made you feel any type of way. That was not my intention. So let's go in and take a look at these changes real quick. I haven't really looked at I glanced at the evolution thing, but beyond that I haven't scrolled, so I don't even know what's below it. I'm interested to get into it and see. We sincerely apologize for disappointing you. This is pretty quick too. This is also kind of shocking how quick this is, because there's been bugs in Raid for like 3 years that we've been telling them about, and they're like, we'll get to it when we get to it. So this is pretty crazy that we're getting a drastic change this soon. So basically they're adjusting the numbers. They announced an adjustment and then decided the adjustment wasn't enough, so they're doing another adjustment. So now it goes from this amount of points required for evolution. So to take a 1-star to 2-star, it was 5 points, 2 to 3 was 30, so on and so on. Now taking a 1-star to 2-star is 1, a 2-star to 3-star is 4. So it's basically, this is all divided roughly by 10. It gets a little bit trickier down here, but like starting here, it's roughly divided by 10. And even in this case, it's even better. So that's insanity. That's insanity, because again, as someone who didn't really feel like the system was all that bad anyway, the fact that it just got 10 times more efficient is bonkers. I think 6-starring monsters is not, it's gonna be wild. It's gonna be, I think there's gonna be a lot less stress about who to 6-star. I very rarely get caught up in that, and I'm kind of in that right now in my account. I have no idea who I want to build. So now that my food's about to go so much further, we'll probably just bang out a bunch. And then for, I guess this is for leveling up. Yeah, it's also been roughly cut by 10 times. So that's pretty crazy, man. Not quite 10. Here it's 10 times. Everything else is not. I mean, yeah. Yeah, roughly. So that's an insane change. That's a fantastic change. And again, I know some of you don't love Com2Us, but for me, this seems on brand for them. But I guess I have different feelings about him because I've been closely associated with Plarium for the last few years. So I generally receive what Com2Us does in a more positive way. So this isn't, it's surprising that it's so drastic, I guess. I think for the amount of uproar, I'm not surprised they're making changes, but I'm surprised at how drastic the changes are. That's crazy. That's going to be real good for us. Mana Stone cost adjustment. Oh, artifact conversion was one of the things that, yeah, was a little bit crazy. So they've cut it in. Yeah. They've scaled it down quite a bit. Quite a bit. Rune power-up cost. They're lowering, looks like they're lowering everything except 12 to 15. Which is fine, I think. What's this? Make it cost about $1 million? Quick math, 920, 980, 995.5. Yeah, so exactly $1 million to take a 6-star rune from 1 to 15. That feels reasonable to me. That feels pretty reasonable. And honestly, will probably save us mana in the long run. I mean, I kind of felt that way about this, but maybe I was remembering too many of the really awful times where it's taken me forever to go 14 to 15. You know what I mean? I think $1 million per rune is not that bad. Rift Dungeon reward improvements. Rift Dungeon has become significant content compared to the pre-update as it now drops enchanted gems. We receive feedback. We would like to make a primary improvement. Remove rune pieces from the drop list. Greatly decrease the drop rate of rare gems and increase the drop rate of hero or higher gems. But okay, that's going to be really nice. As it's difficult to reduce the playtime of Rift Dungeon due to its nature, we've considered finding a way to reduce the playtime effectively. We can now apply the changes immediately. I mean, that's good to know they're thinking about that. This kind of stuff right here, I appreciate so much because, again, you just don't really get that in a lot of other games. Developers are kind of bad about acknowledging until they have a solution, you know what I mean? So I appreciate that. And Sean B, I think it was Sean B, I was listening to yesterday, he made a really good point about the new, because I liked, again, I was looking at it from, I guess, a different angle. I liked the new system of the Rift Beast because I thought, like, that's cool. If I need a violent gem, now I can just go specifically look for a violent gem. And he had a good point that, like, when it used to all drop from the same place, you would do it so much that you would accumulate so much so that you would eventually hit a point where you just kind of had some of everything. And now you have to specifically go hunt it, which can be tough. And I think that's a valid, I think both sides of this are pretty valid, honestly. I think that's a good point, but I also think it is nice to be able to go in and specifically get what you're looking for. You know what I mean? But that was an interesting thought. Abyssal Floor, reward improvements. To make Abyssal Floor more meaningful and efficient content, we will greatly decrease the drop rate of rare runes and increase the drop rate of hero or higher. Okay. And it's less energy. Nice, dude. Nice. This week, the 4 adjustments mentioned above will be applied. I mean, those are great. Those are big steps in a really good direction. This right here is insane. This is also great. And then, yeah, every one of these changes is really good. I'll be very interested to see what this is. What that solution ends up being. Yeah, I think this is great for everybody, honestly. I'm trying to think if there was anything else about the update that people were upset about that they didn't address here. I'll tell you one I'm upset about, but it's very specific to me. Probably. It's they removed on artifacts when you get revived, have more attack bar. And that's what I specifically need to make my Dark Demon as usable as I want him to be. Because when he revives, he comes back with a full turn meter. But if anyone else already had a full turn meter, they're going to go. You know what I mean? Because they're technically going to be ahead of him when it ticks. So sometimes he'll revive and then just immediately get killed again, and that drives me insane because he's a Dark Nat 5. So that's probably like my least favorite thing, but it's so specific. So specific to anybody that has the Dark Demon that's trying to use him the way I'm trying to use him. So anyway, I think those are great changes. I think, and again, as somebody who didn't really have too many problems with the update anyway, I mean, I guess to be fair, I did stop farming Abyssal because I kind of noticed the drops didn't seem to be that drastically better. So I went back down to farming B10. So yeah, I guess I do think it needed changing. I think the evolution system is going to be insane. How much we're going to be able to 6-star now with food, and I assume they'll give us a bunch more food. I don't know how that works, but anyway, that's it. Let me know what you think about these changes. I think that's good stuff. I think it's good stuff. I reckon everybody's going to be pretty pleased about that. So let me know what you think about it. Is there anything else about the update they didn't address yet that you think they should address? And I guess that's it. I guess I'll get out of here. Excited to hear what you guys think. Later.